Hi, hello to all the students of 11th and 12th standard BPC of Telangana and AP. Here is a great news for you people that we are going to start a marathon session, complete sessions targeting the IPE for 60 on 60 score, okay, both for AP and TG state board, wherein you can score a perfect score of 60 on 60 in botany, where very important questions, both long answer questions, short answer and very short answer type of questions are being dealt. Complete blueprint of the questionnaire with weightage is provided, simple and easy to understand and solve, where the questions are drafted with mnemonics and flowcharts where you can easily remember each type of LAQ and SAQ, and previous exam question papers are also provided to you. At the end, complete previous year papers and model papers are discussed, and at last this classes will go on for 60 days beta. Starting from today, it will go on for 60 days. Each session where each question will be highlighted, how to remember that question, and easy and crazy mnemonics will also be given where you can easily understand that. Okay, and the book for this, which is specially designed by me for botany, which is clearly mentioned that for all LAQs, SAQs at the last, model papers with previous year papers are given out. Okay, so this is for intermediate first year both for AP and TG board. The links to download this and the methods how to download this book will be given on Monday. Okay, so today we are going to start the botany IPE sessions, where mastering botany for IPE, where we will be completely having a perfect exam strategy. We are going to start the very first chapter, that is Morphology of Flowering Plants, and today we are going to start the long answer type of questions. Let us first finish the long answer type of questions, then move on to short answer type, and then lastly we will solve very short answer type of questions. Okay, first if we start long answer type of question, the added on advantage is high weightage will be covered from the board exam, and second point, few of the very shorts will be covered in the concept of the long answer type of questions. Clear, right beta? So the book of botany will be available as soft copy from Monday. How to download the book I will be telling you, and this book is completely free of cost, ma. Keeping all the students of AP and TG intermediate board into consideration, from NEET world we are launching this book for completely free of cost, okay, wherein all these feasibilities are provided in this book. Okay, so let us start with the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants. First let us start with the long answer type of questions. Okay, many a times asked in your question paper about root modifications. Many a times in your previous year IPE papers, if you see for botany, many a times asked a question like appeared in March 23, 20, 18, 17, 15 and May 15, also May 2015 as well. From here to 2023 you can see n number of times asked question root modification. Okay, and explain how what are different modifications of root. This is the question, okay, asked many a times, and we can expect this time as well. So first, any long answer type question beta, first you have to describe that question in 2 or 3 lines, and then you have to move on to different root modifications. First you look into it, first explain what is meant by root modification. First clearly mention out what is the definition of root modification. Roots in some plants modify their shape and structure to perform specialized function other than absorption of water and minerals. To perform some specialized function, roots will modify their shape and structure other than absorption and conduction of water and minerals. Such modification of root is termed as what? Is addressed as root modification. The specialized functions include what? Like storage of food, nitrogen fixation and respiration, etc. Only 3 of them is given here, but there are total 6 to 9 modifications, root modifications, that you have to remember. And now when you are describing each root modification, what you have to mention out, ma? Each root modification what is the actual definition of that particular type of root modification and how root is modified, and lastly examples of that root modification are important. So, clear with the introduction of root modification ma? Introduction of root modification, and here types of root modifications. Here you see types of root modifications. First is storage root, which is also known as tuberous roots, where roots will modify to store the food material. Here the primary taproot is modified to store food material in carrots. Okay. So, we have three types of root systems: taproot system, fibrous root system and adventitious root system. But here taproot system is modified, where taproot, the main root, is modified to store the food material into various shapes, of which conical shape, the main root is wide at the base and tapers towards top. Here you can see clearly in the diagram, okay, which is wide at the base and tapers to at the tip. This is the example for this conical shape is what? Carrots. Okay, conical shape example is carrots. Next, nepiform shape, where the main root is spherical, and tapers sharply at the tip. This tapers at the tip. Example includes what? Turnip and beetroot, okay, where this is spherical and has tapers sharply at the tip region. Next, fusiform shape. The main root is swollen here in the middle, the main root is swollen, and this tapers at both the ends. Okay, this tapers at both the ends. This is the example of fusiform shape, for example, radish. So, here for the storage root modification we have three types. One is conical shape, that is carrot, okay, which is base. At the base it is wide and it is having it is tapering at the tip. Next, nepiform, you can see two examples, turnip and beetroot, where the main root is spherical and it has sharp edge, okay, tapers sharply at the tip. Next, fusiform shape, where the main root is swollen in the middle and it tapers at both the ends. This is for what? First modification, that is storage root modification is covered. First is for carrot, second nepiform turnip and beetroot, and third fusiform, that is radish. Okay, clear ma? Next, so this is what? Storage root modification. First root modification is done. Second is what? Nitrogen fixation. So, here you see taproot forms nodules in the members of Fabaceae to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Fabaceae family, which is also known as Leguminosae, because they are legume roots. Nodular roots are also called as legume roots. Fine. Wherein the taproots will form nodules. Nodules are formed because of the symbiotic association of gram-negative bacteria, that is rhizobium. Fine, right? So, here you see these roots are called as nodular roots, where rhizobium bacteria will inhibit the root system, and this is completely the symbiotic association. Clear, right ma? So, here we have finished off two types of root modifications. One is storage root modification, second is nodular root modification, that is for nitrogen fixation. And third type of root modification is respiratory roots or pneumatophores. Respiratory root or pneumatophore is also called as what? Breathing roots. Okay, they are also known as breathing roots. Fine, here you see respiratory roots, pneumatophores, they are also known as breathing roots, where plants growing in swampy areas like rhizophora, where roots come out of the grounds and grow vertically upwards to get oxygen for respiration. Here you can also add on this point that roots will grow upwards above the ground, positively phototrophic and negatively geotrophic. Here you can also add on this positively phototrophic and negatively geotrophic. Fine, right. So, here you see such roots are called as nematophores and they aid in breathing of the plant. So, you can also call them as breathing roots. Best examples include Rhizophora and Avicennia. You can also write like mangroves like Rhizophora and Avicennia. Okay, clear, right, ma? So, respiratory roots also called as nematophores or breathing roots, where they grow in swampy areas. Okay, swampy areas in anaerobic conditions where they do not have they cannot breathe in that atmospheric conditions. Likewise, root will come outwards, growing above, vertically upwards the ground, positively phototrophic and negatively geotrophic. Such roots are called as what? Nematophores. Best examples include what, ma? Rhizophora and Avicennia, which are mangroves. Clear, right? Diagrams for each type of root is very important. You have to draw the diagrams of storage root, you have to draw the diagrams for nitrogen fixation and the breathing roots as well. Clear, right, ma? Next you see, fourth type of root modification is prop roots. Prop roots are also known as what? Pillar roots. Okay. Prop roots also known as pillar roots. These are adventitious roots because they grow positively geotrophic, they arise from the branches of the plant. The only main function or the purpose of this prop roots is to provide mechanical support to the plant. So, here you see the modified roots that will arise from the aerial branches like this. They will arise from aerial branches, they will grow downward and they provide mechanical support to the heavy branches like banyan. These roots are called as prop roots or pillar roots. Examples include what? Banyan tree, which is ficus. Okay, banyan tree. This is the example of prop root. You have to draw the diagram of prop root as well. Next, stilt roots you see. Stilt roots are also adventitious roots. They arise from lower nodes of the stem. Okay, stilt roots will arise from lower nodes of the stem to provide mechanical support to the plant. See students, for each type of modification, a particular sentence should be mentioned, like which part of it is modifying, for what purpose. The examiner will be looking for this point only, like which part of the root is modifying and for what purpose. For example, stilt roots are there. It is growing, which part is it modifying? These are the adventitious roots. They arise from which nodes? Lower nodes of the stem, okay, to support the plant. These roots are called as what? Stilt roots. Stilt roots or brace roots, okay. Stilt roots are also known as brace roots. Examples include maize and sugarcane. Diagram is important, okay. And then you see, and then velamen roots. The roots which are specialized to absorb moisture from the atmosphere. Velamen roots are specialized to absorb what? Moisture from the atmosphere. They grow on the branches of the other plant. Okay, epiphytes, they will grow on the branches of the other plants. The main function that root does here is absorbing moisture from the atmosphere. This point is very important. Examiner will be looking for each root modification. For what it is modifying, what is the purpose of the root modification should be mentioned and highlighted whenever you are attempting this question, okay. So, they are also called as what? Velamen roots are also known as epiphytic roots. Best example is Vanda. So, here you see ma, here you see velamen roots. These are also called as epiphytic roots. Here this is how the roots will grow on the other branch, okay. Next, photosynthetic roots. Photosynthetic roots, these roots are green, aerial, adventitious roots which are chlorophyllous and they perform photosynthesis, okay. These roots are green, aerial, adventitious roots, they are chlorophyllous. They contain chlorophyll and they perform photosynthesis. Example is Taeniophyllum. As they perform photosynthesis, they are also called as photosynthetic roots. As they assimilate the food material, they are also known as assimilatory roots, okay. Photosynthetic roots also known as assimilatory roots or assimilatory roots and photosynthetic roots can be used as synonyms because they are assimilating food and they are performing photosynthesis. They are also known as chlorophyllous roots as they consist of chlorophyll. Okay. Example is what, ma? Cteniophyllum is the best example. Okay. Cteniophyllum is the example over here. Clear, right? Yeah. Next you see hostorial roots. Yeah. Hostorial roots. Hostorial roots are also addressed as parasitic roots. Parasitic roots. Hostorial roots are also known as parasitic roots. The modified roots of parasitic plants that grow into the xylem and phloem of the host plant. This will absorb water and nutrients. We have two types of parasitic roots. One is from partial parasites, where they will gain the nutrients like water and minerals from the plants, where they dwell into the xylem tissues of the preceding plant. Whereas complete parasites, they will get into both xylem and phloem tissues. Okay, complete parasites, they will get into both xylem and phloem tissues. So, hostorial roots, the modified roots for parasitic plants that grow into xylem and phloem of the host plants to absorb water and nutrients. And here these roots are called as what? Parasitic roots or hostorial roots. Okay. Parasitic, partial parasites include what? Viscum and striga. Complete parasites include Cuscuta and Rafflesia. So, with this, complete root modifications are known, right, ma? So, once let us have a quick gist of it. How you have to attempt this question in the beginning? First, you have to mention what is the actual definition of root modification and what are the types of root modifications we are going to learn. And the first is storage roots or tuberous roots, from which different shapes of the roots are formed, as such like conical shape in carrot, nepiform shape in turnip and beetroot, fusiform in radish. Okay. Nitrogen fixation is by the bacterium Rhizobium and it is observed in the family Leguminosae or Fabaceae. Respiratory roots, also called as breathing roots or nematophores, observed in mangroves like Rhizophora and Avicennia. Diagrams, each part it is important you see. Next is prop roots. Prop roots examples banyan tree or ficus. Next is tilt roots examples like maize and sugarcane. Okay. Lastly, velamen roots example is vanda. Velamen roots also known as epiphytic roots, and then photosynthetic roots like Cteniophyllum. Lastly, hostorial roots, which can be partial parasites or complete parasites. Partial parasites like Viscum and striga, complete parasites like Robulfia and Cuscuta, Rafflesia and Cuscuta. Here this is the flow chart, ma. This flow chart also if you take, na, that is enough. If you can take the screenshot of this flow chart from storage root to hostorial root, this is enough. I hope this flow chart is clear, right? Yeah. For storage root, what types of shapes and its examples? Nitrogen fixation, nodular roots and its examples, respiratory roots examples, prop root examples, tilt root, velamen root, photosynthetic root and hostorial root. It is very easy, ma. You frame out the question on how you are going to attempt for a long answer, okay, which is completely for 8 marks, right? You frame out that. If the root modification, if I have to give the example, first write the definition, then types of storage roots, okay, with the examples and diagrams. Enough, your answer will be done. So, how to remember that? Each time it is impossible to revise the entire answer, right? So, in that case, the flow charts are very important. This is the best flow chart I can give you for root modification, okay. And I can also give you a crazy mnemonic where you can remember this easily, right? Like what are different types of root modifications, you can remember it very easily. Some naughty rabbits play slowly, very perfectly, hugging plants. So, here you see some is storage roots, conical, nepiform and fusiform types of roots will come here. Next, naughty, N, nitrogen fixation roots, nodular roots, example Fabaceae and Rhizobium is the bacteria which is gram negative bacteria. And rabbits, Artho you can include here respiratory roots, okay, respiratory roots or nematophores, Rhizophora avicennia. Next, play, prop roots, banyan, ficus, banyan tree, and slowly S is tilt roots, maize and sugarcane, V. Velamen roots, example Vanda. Perfectly. P. Photosynthetic roots, for example Taeniophyllum. Hugging. H. Hostorial roots, Viscum striga, partial parasites. And Cuscuta rafflesia, complete parasites. Okay. So, these are the things that you have to highlight and get noted with. Okay. So, at the end I would like to end this question, end the explanation of this question by telling you root modifications n number of times asked in your previous year exam. So, how you have to attend this with definition and types of root modification with examples and explanation properly. Okay, and diagrams most importantly. To remember the examples, mnemonic and flowchart will help you out, children. Okay, clear, right? Yeah. Next question you see. So, students, the next question is, explain how stem is modified variously to perform different functions. So, look into this. Just in a minute I will be back. So, here you see there are three major important questions, like one is root modification, next types of inflorescence. Racemose inflorescence is most common type of question that is frequently appearing in your previous year IPE papers, and then it is stem modification. When stem modification question is asked, you have to manage and maintain your time as well, okay, because we have three types of stem modifications, right? But underground stem modification, subaerial and aerial type of stem modifications are there. When three types of stem modifications are given, okay, to explain each type of stem modification it will take time. So, hardly 15 to 20 minutes will be consumed. So, practice and attempt this question in such a way that you can finish off this question in 10 to 15 minutes accurately. Okay. So, how you have to deal with this question, what should be included, how much concept is required, I will tell you. And one more thing I have to tell you here is root modification, stem modification and inflorescence beta. This concept you are learning over here will be useful even for your MCERT and for NEET, okay. Be it statement based or be it example based question will be covered up here only, okay. So, look at here the next question about stem modification, which is asked in March 2024, 16 and May 24. Not that frequently asked question, but it is important again. So, here you look at answer once, how you can describe a stem as the ascending part of the plant axis which bears branches, leaves, flowers, fruits. This is called as what? Stem, okay, which is the ascending part of the plant axis. This bears branches, flowers, leaves, fruits, okay, where nodes and internodes are also present. Here you can also add nodes and internodes, okay. The plumule of the embryo present in the germinating seed will give rise to the stem. So, if you can see during the time of seed germination, the first hypocotyle which is emerging out will mature to what? Radicle. This radicle matures to root or radicle develops to root, and epicotyle which grows above the ground, this matures to what? Plumule. This plumule will give rise to shoot or stem, right. So, here the embryo present in the germinating seed will give rise to the stem. The stem of some plants is modified to perform different functions other than giving mechanical support, conduction, which are the common functions of stem, some specialized functions, okay. So, the specialized functions include what? Storage of food, support, vegetative propagation and protection. So, for these specialized functions again stem is being modified. So, stem modifications we are learning it under three types. One is underground stem modification, aerial stem modifications and subaerial stem modification. I hope the introduction of this question is clear, right ma? First you have to explain out how stem is being formed, okay. Stem, its types, what is the purpose of stem modification, okay, for what stem is getting modified, and a plant axis above the ground has what, and which region of the embryo is developing into stem. And here you can also write stem grows positively phototrophic and negatively geotrophic. So, here first stem modifications you see, underground stem modification, aerial stem modification and subaerial stem modification. Underground stem modification, if you observe some plants modify their stem to grow positively geotrophic to perform various functions like storage and propagation. They also act as organs of perennation to tide over unfavorable conditions, means during unfavorable conditions also they will survive. That is the reason they are called as what? Organs of perennation. Underground stem modification, underground stems will go positively geotrophic and negatively phototrophic. First type of underground stem modification is rhizome. So, here in rhizome this grows parallel to the soil surface, parallel, or here you can also mention horizontal to the soil surface, and it is branched. Okay. This type is what? Branch. It is branched and this grows parallel or horizontal to the soil surface. Best example is your ginger, which you see each day. Okay. It bears nodes, internodes, scaly leaves, buds and adventitious roots. Okay. Nodes, internodes, scaly leaves, buds and adventitious roots are present in each type of modification. Best example is zingiber, that is ginger, and curcuma, that is turmeric. Okay. And ferns as well. This is the modification that you see, and these are the examples. Type of modification should be explained clearly like this grows parallel and horizontal to the soil surface, it is branched and it bears all these things, okay, where all type of stem modification will bear node, internode, scaly leaves and buds. Fine, right? Next, corm. Corm, here if you see, it grows vertically below the soil surface and it is unbranched. Corm type of stem modification is unbranched. It bears nodes, internodes, buds and scaly leaves. Okay. This grows vertically down to the soil surface and it is unbranched, and as I told you, all type of modifications will bear nodes, internodes, buds and scaly leaves. Examples of this corm type is Amorphophallus, Colocasia, Crocus and Colchicum. Next type of stem modification is tuber. Tuber, where in this stem modification the terminal portion of the underground stem is modified. Okay. So, here you see the terminal portion of, if this is the main shoot and these are the lateral branches, the terminal portion of the lateral underground branch is swollen. Terminal portion of the underground stem is swollen due to accumulation of food. Best example is what? Potato, that is your Solanum tuberosum. Next is bulb. So, bulb, here you see stem is reduced to disc shape. Okay, stem is reduced to disc shape. They do not show any, they do not store any food material. The bud surrounded by, this is the shoot bud which is surrounded by concentric leaves like this with succulent leaf bases. This has succulent leaf bases and outer ones, outer scaly leaf will always be dry here. Okay. So, these are 4 types of underground stem modification. First is what rhizome. In rhizome type, where shoot is growing, the underground stem is growing parallel or horizontal to the soil surface and it is branched, it bears all the nodes, internodes, scaly leaves and adventitious roots. Second is corm. Corm is unbranched, it grows vertically downwards to the soil surface. Okay. And it also bears what? Nodes, internodes, buds and scaly leaves. Examples include Amorphophallus, Colocasia, Crocus and Colchicum. Third is stem tuber, where lateral branch of the underground stem is swollen. This is due to the accumulation of food. Example is potato. Last type of underground stem modification is bulb, where shoot bud which is underground, that shoot bud will not store any food, but then the shoot bud or stem bud is surrounded by many concentric scaly leaves. This concentric scaly leaves are fleshy and the last scaly leaf is dry. Okay. Example includes onion, lily and garlic. These are the examples. Clear, right ma? Next. So, this is rhizome type, rhizome, corm, bulb and stem tuber. 4 types of stem modifications. Clear, right ma? Any doubt you are having here, you can ask me. Any doubt anywhere, you can ask me. Next you see here aerial stem modifications, and then later we will go to subaerial stem modifications. In aerial stem modifications, first you see ma, it is about stem tendrils. Stem tendrils, just a second. Yeah, here we are at the aerial stem modification. Here first is what? Stem tendrils. So, stem tendrils here, they are slender and spirally coiled structures. Okay, they are slender and spirally coiled structures. Here what examiner will be actually looking is which part of the stem is getting modified. Always it is, remember, but when it is stem tendrils or thorns, which part is modifying? Auxiliary bud of the stem will be modified. Remember that. Okay, auxiliary or terminal bud of the stem will be modified to what? Tendril. Okay. If auxiliary bud is modifying to stem tendril, examples you can consider is gourds like cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. If a terminal bud is getting modified, example you can consider is grapevines. Okay. So, stem tendrils, they are slender and spirally coiled structures which arise either from auxiliary bud or terminal bud. If it is from auxiliary bud, examples include gourds like cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. If it is from terminal bud, examples include like grapevine. Next is what? Thorns. The buds of the stem, they will get modified to woody, straight, pointed structures. These are what? Thorns. Okay. The buds are modified to woody, straight, pointed structures. They are modified to what? Thorns. Again here auxiliary bud is only getting modified, auxiliary or terminal bud they will get modified to thorns. Examples of this is citrus and bougainvillea. Next is phylloclades. Here the stem, the shoot gets modified to fleshy structures. It can be fleshy, flattened like in opuntia, fleshy, cylindrical like euphorbia and needle like in casuarina. And here stem will conduct the photosynthesis. Stem has chlorophyll in it, it is fleshy and it will conduct photosynthesis. They contain chlorophyll and conducts photosynthesis. Leaves here are modified to spines. This you can include for leaf modification. Okay. Leaves here for phylloclade stem modification. Leaves are modified to spines. As leaves are modified to spines, this will reduce transpiration. This type of modification is observed in the plants which are growing in arid regions. Plants which are growing in arid regions. Okay. So, here plants which are growing in arid regions, they will modify their stems into what? Fleshy flattened, fleshy cylindrical, needle like. Examples here are important. For fleshy flattened, it is what example ma? Opuntia. Cylindrical, it is euphorbia. Needle like, it is casuarina. Okay, they contain chlorophyll and they will conduct photosynthesis. Leaves are modified to spines. This will reduce transpiration. Okay. Next is cladophylls. Phylloclade and cladophyll, both are aerial stem modifications. Cladophyll, the branches of limited growth to perform photosynthesis. Here the branches, the stem branches will be of limited growth and they will perform photosynthesis. Fine. Example is what? Asparagus. Bulbils, some vegetative and floral buds, they will detach from the parent body. Vegetative and floral buds, they will detach from the parent body and they will develop adventitious roots. They are called as bulbils. Do not get confused between bulb, that is underground stem modification, and bulbil, that is aerial stem modification. In aerial stem modification, what is happening ma? Vegetative or floral buds are storing the food material. Okay, vegetative or floral buds are storing food material, that is bulbil. If at all vegetative buds are storing food material, then the example should be included as Dioscorea. Floral bud storing food material is agave. Okay, they help in vegetative reproduction as well. Okay, these are the total types of aerial stem modifications. Once quickly recall children, what are the aerial stem modifications? First is stem tendrils, next stem thorns, next phylloclades, cladophylls, and then bulbils. These are 5 types of aerial stem modifications, and these are the diagrams where you have to draw in your exam for sure. Okay, underground stem modification, aerial stem and subaerial stem. And whenever you are attempting long answer type of question in biology, be it botany and zoology, mostly you have to choose diagram based questions, ma, because for a diagram based question, diagram will have certain mark, okay, to be given, to be allotted. So diagram based questions will help you to add more score. Okay. So next it is subaerial stem modification, which is very important. Subaerial stem modification is just 4 types, ma. One is stolon, next is sucker, runner, offset. Stolon, sucker, runner, offset. Stolon, which is slender lateral branch, wherein here in stolon, slender lateral branch which arises from the base of the main axis, and they grow aerially for some time, arches upwards. This will just touch the ground. Okay, the lateral branch will grow slenderly, touches the ground and raises upwards, arches upwards. Okay, this will produce adventitious roots. Examples include mint and jasmine. Whereas sucker, if you see the same definition, but here the lateral branch will grow beneath the ground and then it will grow obliquely upwards. So here you see the lateral branch originates from the basal portion of the main stem. This grows horizontally beneath the soil and then it comes obliquely upwards. This will give rise to what? Leafy shoots. Examples include banana, pineapple and chrysanthemum. Okay, banana, pineapple and chrysanthemum, these are the examples. Next is what? Runner. These are elongated prostrate branches with long internodal length. Okay, they are elongated prostrate branches, they will have long internodal length and the roots will arise at the nodes of the main branches. And as long internodal length are present, okay, they will spread into new niches when older plant parts die. Okay, they will spread into new niches when older plant parts die. Examples here include what? Grasses, strawberry and oxalis. These are the examples. Next you look into beta. Last is offset. Offset type of subaerial stem modification is observed in most of the hydrophytes. Hydrophytes are aquatic plants. Okay, in most of the hydrophytes or aquatic plants, the offset type of modification is observed, wherein lateral branch will be just of one internodal length. More internodal length you will see in what? Runner type of subaerial stem modification, you will see large internodal length, but internodal length will be very small in which type of modification? Offset type of modification, where this bears rosette of leaves and tuft of balancing roots. At each node there will be rosette of leaves and tuft of balancing roots. Okay, it has rosette of leaves and tuft of balancing root with just one internodal length. Examples include Pistia and Acornia. So here what are the subaerial stem modifications, ma? Stolon, sucker, runner and offset. This is the diagrams that you have to mention out. Okay, that runner, stolon, sucker and offset. Mnemonic to remember this. First I will give you the flow chart and then I will tell you about the mnemonic. Yeah, flow chart to remember the stem modifications. 3 types of stem modifications, right ma? 3 types of stem modifications, right? So it is underground stem modification, subaerial stem modification and subaerial stem modification. Underground stem modifications include, first is rhizome, which grows parallelly horizontal to the soil surface, ginger, turmeric and ferns. Corm type if you see, Amorphophallus, Colocasia and Crocus. These are the examples. Tuber, potato, okay. Bulb type if you see onion, lily and garlic. Then aerial type of stem modification you see stem tendrils like gourds, cucumber, pumpkin and grapevines, okay. Next is thorns examples you see citrus and bougainvillea. Next phylloclads, opuntia, euphorbia and casuarina. Cladophylls, asparagus, bulbils, dioscorea and agave, okay, wherein both vegetative bud and floral bud you have to highlight. Next is subaerial stem modification, stolon, mint and jasmine. Sucker type of subaerial modification you can see, banana, pineapple and chrysanthemum. Runner, grasses, strawberry and oxalis. Offset you can see pistia and eichhornia. These are the subaerial stem modifications. So, underground, aerial, subaerial stem modification with examples. You can take a screenshot of this. If you remember this, then you can attempt the stem modification type of questions. So, here you see mnemonics to remember that easily. Yeah, uncle, auntie sold rare cool toys brightly. So, here U, A and S, first three is to remember underground stem modifications, aerial stem modifications and subaerial stem modifications. Next you see rare cool toys brightly, okay. First here R for rhizome, next C calm, T tuber, B is bulb. Here also S, T, P, C and B, where you can remember this easily. Stem tendrils, 5 types of aerial, no? Stem tendrils, stem thorns, followed by phylloclades, cladophylls and lastly bulbils. Next last is what? Subaerial stem modifications. So, subaerial stem modifications here includes what Stolon, sucker, runner and offset. These are subaerial stem modifications. So, with this we have finished out what? 2 long questions which are most expected from morphology. In our next class we will do few more questionnaire sets from morphology of flowering plants with easy memory hacks of root modification and stem modification again. Okay. So, that is all for today's session students. Stay tuned to get a perfect score in botany, that is 60 on 60. Once again I would like to end the session by giving you a strong note that this book which is published from NEET World for all the subjects, botany, zoology, physics, chemistry and mathematics for MPC students as well, all the IPE books for first year and second year are completely for free of cost, which are provided, and soft copies are also available where the scanner will be released from Monday onwards. You can get that easily. Complete very important questions, blueprint with weightage charts, simple and easy to understand and solve, and most important is to how to remember the question and attempt it more accurately will also be dealt in the class. Okay. Lastly, previous year exam questions and model papers will also be solved. This will be of great help to all the students of 11th and 12th standards of Telangana and AP. So, make use of it and thank you.